Little known fact. The serve is not the most important shot in tennis. It's actually this shot. Practice it often. You have no idea how happy I was when you guys voted for me to review the Solinco Outlast. By the way, if you want to vote on what string you want me to review next, follow me on Instagram. Link is down in the description below, so you guys can find my weekly pollings on what strings to review next. Also, on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m., I will be live streaming on YouTube. So while I'm stringing rackets, I can answer any questions that you guys have when it comes to drills, stringing equipment, tennis equipment, and we can even watch some tennis memes on YouTube and some of the highlights. If you do enjoy this content, do me a favor, hit that like button and consider hitting subscribe to get notified on very regularly uploaded original content when it comes to tennis strings, tennis drills, and high-level singles match play. And for what you came for, this is the Solinco Outlast Tennis String Review. By the way, shout out to Sir Soyboy. He was the first one on my YouTube premiere to actually guess a score correctly in the first set. I'll leave a link to that match play in this top left corner over here. It was a very good match against one of my good friends, Topher. So shout out to him for being able to toughen out that one. That was a fun match. Coming in at $115 per reel and at about $8.50 per packet. This round red colored copoly should sound pretty familiar to those of you that have seen my Kirschbaum Pro Line 2 tennis string review. But here's a little forewarning. They are not similar at all other than they're colored red and that they're round. How it played from the baseline. Surprisingly, this had a good amount of pop on the ball. For those of you that like to hear the ball coming off the strings, check out this footage of me hitting indoors around. Another good surprise is the amount of topspin that this string gave is actually the most spin potential I've ever had from a round copolyester, surpassing that of even the Technifiber Razor Code and the Yonex Polytour Pro, which I was a huge fan of both of those strings. The comfort was also outstanding. When it came to the slight mishits, you almost didn't feel it coming off the string bed, except you did notice it drop a little bit shorter when it landed on the other side of the court. However, this is not a perfect string. I'll get to that in a minute. For the serves and overheads, the flat ones, you felt the ball dwell on the string bed long enough to really launch it to the other side of the service box or onto the other side of the tennis court. And similar to the baseline with the spin, the slices and the kick serves were fantastic. It had an amazing amount of potential for a rounded copolyester. Top marks on that one. Good job, Steve. The feel was, again, we'll talk about the feel in just a bit, but the comfort, similar to the baseline. Again, really good. Even on the slight mishits, especially for these first serves or flat overheads, even on a slight mishit, you actually didn't notice the drop in power because the comfort was so good. For the volleys and even the more finesse shots, the power was equitable. Equitable? Oh man. The power was acceptable. Coming off the string bed, it had good power, and you knew exactly where your volley and finesse shot, like a drop shot, was going to land on the other side of the net. It was expected. It wasn't any surprising. It could have been a little bit better. I really would like a little bit more ball pocketing when it comes to these slower racket head speed type of shots. Similar to the comfort with the serves and overheads and the baseline, it didn't feel jarring at all. I've had people in the comment section say that it might be a really bad discomfort, almost like the Solinco Tour Bite, which was very uncomfortable, by the way. But surprisingly, I didn't have any arm or wrist problems after this. In fact, it was probably one of the softest co-polys I've tested on this channel so far. Now, for the negative of this string. For non-serves and non-overhead type of shots, where you're not able to swing consistently in the upwards of hundreds of miles an hour, this string lacked ball pocketing on impact. It wasn't necessarily bad, but I would actually say if the ball pocketing for this string was on par with a Technifiber Razor Code or a Yonex Poly Tour Pro, this would be the best string overall I've reviewed on this channel because of the amount of spin potential and comfort that the Solinco Outlast is able to provide me as a 4-5 singles player. At about 5 hours of straight hitting, when originally strung at 55 pounds, the Solinco Outlast is still at around 55 pounds, maybe even a little bit higher, but not by much. So, holds tension pretty damn good. Good job, Solinco. For those of you that are looking for a round, soft copolyester that's comfortable and playable, I highly suggest giving Solinco Outlast a chance in your playtest. Just keep in mind, it's not going to have as much grip on the ball like Riley Reid at an NFL Combine party. But that's actually the only negative I have on this string. This string is similar to the Yonex Poly Tour Pro, but it has more spin potential, but it does have less ball pocketing. I try not to do any comparisons with string A to string B as a direct comparison one-to-one, but the thought of that string really stood out when playtesting the Solinco Outlast. And as always, I tested this string on my Yonex EZone 98, strung at 55 pounds. Happy hitting.